What's up guys, Brandon from Tech Kings here. Today I want to give you a look at a really awesome piece of kit that I recently picked up to use with my DSLR camera. Now, if you were following our official CES 2013 Twitter feed, you may already know a few details about the product I'm going to be showing you. If not, then allow me to introduce you to the Carry Speed FS Slim camera sling system. Now, aside from my DSLR, this is currently my favorite item in my camera bag, and if you stick around, I'll show you why. If you're an owner of a DSLR or full-sized HD camcorder, you probably already know that the basic camera straps that come packaged with your camera can literally be a huge pain in the neck. Now, my Canon Rebel T2i isn't a very heavy DSLR, but after just a few hours of lugging it around last year's CES show floor with the basic Canon strap, I wanted nothing more than to just stash the camera in my bag and forget about it for the rest of the day. For this year's show, I wanted to find a really versatile solution that allowed me to keep my camera at the ready at all times without making me crave a massage at the end of the day. After doing some comparisons between different types of products, I came across this strap by Carry Speed, which looked like the perfect match for my needs for several reasons. Reason one being its build. Now, the strap itself is made of the same durable nylon as most other camera straps, but the similarities pretty much end there. The shoulder pad is actually made of neoprene, which makes it really stretchy and super comfortable since it distributes the weight of the camera more evenly across your shoulder. What makes it even better is that the bottom part of the pad is covered in this textured rubber, and there's a lot of it, so you won't constantly be adjusting the position of the strap on your shoulder. It just sticks. This does lead to a potential downside, which I'll get to later. Another thing about the shoulder pad that I didn't see in many others is that it fastens to the strap with two buckles rather than one, meaning that it's completely removable. Now, if you look closely, you'll see that this is a two-stage buckle that requires two hands to undo. You have to squeeze at this point and this point in order to undo the buckle. And this is great news for those who are paranoid about security with their camera and worry about someone just coming up and with one hand undoing the buckle here and making off with their camera. If we move a little bit further down the strap past the buckle, we run into this metal clip and D-ring. And basically what this is for is to shorten up the length of the strap for when you want to move amongst a tight crowd or walk at a reasonably quick pace. As you can see, when I cinch this up, it brings the receiver portion, which holds the camera, up tight to the body. And if I'm tugging on both ends, you can see that the receiver is locked in place between this metal clip and this plastic bumper. When you want to bring up your camera to shoot, that clip easily releases in the opposite direction. And I'll give a demo of these features later on. Now, this receiver is what I think is probably the most impressive part of Carry Speed's system. Bring it up closer so you can see. This entire thing is machined out of steel. It looks extremely robust as compared to most other camera strap attachments, which make use of a rather lightweight carabiner system. And the function of this receiver is actually quite simple. You take the F1 mounting plate, as Carry Speed calls it, which comes with this steel ball head, and you can probably see that this ball head just sits into this channel. and then you just thread this collar down to lock the ball head in place. It's free to rotate, but notice that its range of motion is rather limited, and the main reasoning behind this is so that the camera doesn't swing around too much and bump into the strap, potentially scratching your lens. As an added security measure, Carry Speed has included this rubber washer, which can be scooted down behind the collar to discourage it from unthreading itself. Now it's time to attach the FS Sling system to our camera, and this starts with attaching the F1 mounting plate to the bottom of your DSLR or camcorder. This plate is, again, fully machined out of steel. You have all steel hardware, including this ball head and the main mounting screw, which can slide back and forth to give you some fine adjustment. Carry Speed has also gone the extra length to include these 6 tripod mounting holes. Otherwise, if you happen to own a tripod that is equipped with the Arca Swiss quick release system, these rails are built right into the mounting plate, so once you have the plate on your DSLR, you're pretty much ready to go. All you need to mount the plate to the bottom of your DSLR is a flathead screwdriver, or a coin will work just fine. We'll simply line up the mounting screw with the hole, tighten that down. Now we can grab our tripod mount and attach that right on top of the plate. And there you have it, we're set to go. Another thing you might notice is that the ball head actually swivels on this joint, which allows the camera to transition from hanging by the strap to sitting flat, or relatively flat since I have the tripod mount, on a tabletop. Of course, if you had this down, then your camera would really sit cockeyed. This also helps the camera fit into your camera bag a little more easily. So, a really simple feature, but something that users should definitely appreciate with this setup. Of course, we've already seen how the strap attaches. We just slide the ball head into the channel on the receiver, tighten the collar down, slip the O-ring behind it for good measure, and there we have it. Now that we have our DSLR all rigged up with Carry Speed system, we just have to make a few minor adjustments before we can head out the door. Now the first thing that you're going to notice is that the camera sits naturally at my side thanks to the offset mount of the ball head on this mounting plate. This makes it very intuitive to just reach back and find the hand grip on the camera to bring it up to take a shot. Now, to restrict the camera's rearward movement for when you're walking around, Carry Speed has included this plastic bumper, which we can just scoot right up behind the receiver and clamp it down. Now you can see that the camera is not able to move back. For those times that you want to walk at a reasonably quick pace or back into a crowded elevator, let's say, and you don't want your camera bobbing around and bumping into people or other objects, that is where this front cinching system really comes in handy. All I got to do is grab onto this D-ring and pull down, and the camera is forced up into the crook of my arm where I can effectively shield it from obstacles. I like to keep the lens cap on as an extra precaution, just because it'd be easy for me to back up and bump into somebody with, let's say, a watch or a wedding ring or even a belt buckle could come into contact with the lens and potentially scratch it. So better to be safe than sorry there. comes time to take a shot, all you got to do is bring the camera up in a natural motion. And because this buckle only acts in one direction, it automatically disengages and allows you to take that shot. When you're done, the camera just resets against the bumper, and you're back to where you started. Now, I did mention one potential downside about all this rubber padding on the underside of the shoulder pad, and that is, as you are going throughout the day and constantly taking shots, and especially if you're drawing the camera really quickly, this pad does tend to slip a little bit along the shoulder. That does cause a little bit of friction, which isn't uncomfortable for you, but it can have a bad effect on your clothing. So I wouldn't suggest wearing this strap around with your favorite shirt on a long shoot. It might rub the fibers a little bit, which is just something to keep in mind. Like I mentioned before, you also have the two-stage buckle, which requires two hands to open. This is a really great security feature because not only does it prevent your camera from crashing to the ground in the event of a hardware failure of a less durable buckle, it also prevents a brazen thief from just coming up and with one hand unclipping this and making off with your camera. Thanks to the awesome build quality and bevy of convenience and safety features in this carry speed Sling, I'm able to enjoy long shoots with my DSLR that much more. For more information about the FS Sling, you can look at our full review on techkings.net, and feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Whatever you guys can do to support us, we really appreciate it. Until next time, I'm Brandon with Tech Kings, and we'll be seeing you around the interwebs.